Well, hello. It's about time. Let's not waste it, shall we? We got some stuff to take care of. And I, as usual, kind of procrastinated just a little bit. Just a tad. Also, look at Pablo. Pablo. Oh shit. Alright, let's begin our drive. Hey, what's good, Don? How's it going? Honestly, I probably should start leveling up some of my ring units too. I only do have Aldous and Isang, so I may have to consider sharding both Alpha Faust and Costa Lu. But we'll get to that point eventually. Maybe we could just pull maybe just once and just be done with it. You know, just a little one-off kind of thing. Let me go to school, otherwise I have been doing pretty good so far. It was mostly a slow day at work. or rather just practically not, I can't say slow. It was an unproductive day. Maybe interspersed with like a few things here and there, but whatever it was, that it really made me want the day to just end pretty quickly. Because tomorrow I'm getting paid, yay! And Pragmata's coming out too, yay! But I'm also just kind of spacing things out so I don't end up spending too much money that I want to, and maybe just try and get another Banal costume that's more my size, because the last one I ordered was a little bit too small. But I found one with a much better detailing when it comes to like the actual cape, so I may consider it. Keyword may. Hey, what's good, Brian? How's it going? Welcome to the stream. Yeah, let's begin our drive. We got 26 days, so we have plenty. A funeral was held for Martin and the LC researchers today. You too. Gee, I wonder why everybody is going for a Banal cosplay at this stretch of the mile. Boy, sounds like Markiplier. Oh, that's a first. That's actually a first. Like, don't get me wrong, it's funny, but Markiplier is definitely like the last person I would ever hear being thrown into comparison. Granted, I haven't watched him before. I've only like seen clips of him, but I never really seen much of his streams. Oh no. Now look what you did! Look what you did, Brian! I can't even do like a Markiplier impression even if I tried, but maybe if I can probably tone my voice a little bit, I could somehow match it up a little similar, but it's nothing like the cadence that he has. Okay, now I'm just not doing myself a service. But yeah. That's a first. A new model? Yes. It's the Joker, or the Jester of Nihility. I pretty much quote-unquote debuted the model on my anniversary, which is on April 4th. So yeah, I got bitchin' blades. Yeah. But nice to see you again, Nightmare. The funeral was held for Martin and the LCE researchers today. I thought I'd seen more than my fair share of deaths through my journey with the sinners, but never before had I witnessed this many people gather in one place to mourn the deceased together. Unfamiliarity made me feel a bit out of place. Am I doing this right? Most sinners seem to be feeling this similar sense of being out of the element as well. Some were asking Marcel, apparently the most knowledgeable of them all, when it came to the funeral process and etiquette, all manner of questions for pointers. Expressing respect is primary purpose, and placement and gesture are unimportant if that objective can be accomplished. Hey, where do I put this? Beneath the pillow to the right. Can't any of you quit chatting for 1 second? You all forgotten the instruction to carry yourself with solemn propriety that benefits the occasion, that befits the occasion? Cut me some slack. I haven't been to funerals all that much. I mean, I did tell you to read the manual. I even underlined all the important parts for you. Sorry, Ishi. Now, the wall of text was just too much for me. The focus started fizzling out from page 30 onwards. Hadn't every sinner here attended a funeral before? Back when we set foot in that grim manor in T-Corp. Ah! That speaks of the funeral held in young Heathcliff's manor, does that not? The one bereft of the dead. Bereft of the dead? I mean, someone had to have died because there wouldn't have been a property dispute big enough to involve the Outfield Association's notarization otherwise. I've said this time and again, but it was just an intentional anonymity to prevent family strife. Intentional anonymity, is it? If the situation was indeed thou sayest, then there was no helping it, forsooth. Yet it is a pity that the dead wasn't named at their own funeral. Scared her. Ah, okay. I mean, I'm kind of decent at math. I've been trying to do more mental math since majority of my time, especially during like elementary to middle school, I've primarily done through calculator. So actually doing mental math has been like a nice little practice for me. So there are some things I am still like a bit short on here and there, so it's just gonna be some time for me to just really get into the swing of things. And especially if you're in America, I feel sorry for anybody that is learning Common Core. Whatever the hell that is. The name of the deceased was... It was Catherine's funeral. She was very dear to Heathcliff. A thorough review of the past 5 years' worth of local newspapers pertaining to the matter, yet no such name relevant to the case was identified, manager. God damn, poor Heathcliff. At 27, how did you rack up that many missing assignments? Due to my... Well, you better batten down the hatches. If anything, you might as well just close the stream or just have it in background. Just lock in. Like, what type of math is it? It's like geometry, algebra, trigonometry. That's fine, Clockhead. At least you remember. It's got enough in it. It had to be the Golden Bow's influence. Somewhere along the way, everyone's memories of the event at Wuthering Heights had become warped. The sinners seemed to think the Golden Bowl had always been there in that manner, and that Nellie was coaxed into stealing by Herman, which in their minds was now a grieving brother who had been conducting research for his dead sister's sake. Nobody questioned it. Not Don, not Faust. Every single sinner believed the twisted version of the memory as if it was proven fact. Heathcliff and I gave up trying to correct them and said we'd just check in each other's memories every now and then. Because it's something that he and I realized, that anything tied to Catherine had already been painted over, every detail gilded and glossed over with the glow of the bow. The point is, how should I put this? The circumstances of that funeral didn't exactly leave us much room to properly express our condolences back then. This algebra, since this holds around the corner in the last 2 weeks, we had review and a burnout 2 weeks. If there's one thing I definitely took the most advantage of, was honestly meeting with my math teacher almost after school, every time. If there's something I didn't understand, I mostly brought it up to her. Because there were some moments where I just did not have any clue what was going on, or just like made too many mistakes, and like maybe the calculations and so on. So I made it my mission to just meet with my math teacher almost relentlessly to kind of hammer home. Because the biggest mistake is just leaving it alone. If you don't understand something, you shouldn't leave it alone. Not horrible teachers, no. It's just the subject. The subject that just really bothers me. Especially if it's something I don't understand, I have to like make it my mission to just try to understand it as much as I can so I can pass. Between Heathcliff running on a rampage and the Henlik I bent on interfering with the execution of the will. I assume that sort of impediment was pretty common stuff for funerals, but apparently not. Apparently not, huh? No, well, I think it's actually rare to see a place that follows proper funeral procedures. I traveled around quite a bit myself, but I can't confidently say that I've been to a legitimate funeral. The one at Wuthering Heights was one of the more proper funerals, if only pretending to have a process. They at least prepared a coffin and had given a formal reading of the will. And the funerals are far from being an everyday custom in the city. Funerals are considered a rather extravagant practice here as well. Corporations are not eager to grant time offs because an irrelevant someone had died. The price of real estate seldom makes it viable to buy land and erect memorial houses on it. Then, what other options do people usually have? We used to just leave them where they died. After one night of sleep, the bodies were gone. Just like that. Rather than paying loads of money to bury them somewhere else, just to have them stir up a lot of daft rumors, huh? Rumors? You know, rumors about there being valuables buried with the bodies, or an arm being some fancy prosthesis. All that rot. Rather let the dead go in peace than to bury the grave just for some sods to later desecrate it. Like my math teacher, and also 90% of I mean, unfortunately, you're probably not gonna like this piece of advice. You're gonna have to bite the bullet and just meet with them. Whether you like your math teacher or not, there should be a main objective, and that is passing the class, making sure all the assignments are turned in, and that you at least have a firm understanding of what needs to be done. Because the game of catch-up is going to be much tougher the more stressed out you are. Even if you kind of go at it one at a time. So you're going to have to make amends somewhere down the line. Like again, you don't have to like the person, but you have to pretty much prioritize something to really get you out of that burnout state. In Hong Yuan, people tend to set up graves if they have enough room to spare. Of course, there wasn't a guarantee they wouldn't lose the burial room by the next restructuring day. Lime scoffed and hung his head. What choice foolishness. All of it. Comforting the soul of the departed? Another mendacity. All those funds so carelessly squandered all for the purpose of furnishing the living with a fragile excuse to cling on. Don't want to meet with him because I should have told him months ago, and I don't understand it. I didn't want to. No, you're gonna have to do it. You're gonna have to do it. Because think of it this way. You're not doing yourself any favors if you're just holding back on the idea that you don't understand anything. You're doing yourself a major disservice for the teacher not doing their job to help you. So you have to kind of have a bit of a compromise. Even if it feels like there's not much to be done, there is an option. Don't close yourself out. Even if you're not good with people, don't close the options that you have available. Because realistically, there's only so much I can do in order to help, but I can't really do much. I don't know your circumstances in full, so I can't really give the proper advice, especially for math. You're just gonna have to push yourself. Whichever was the truth, I couldn't see the look in his face with his head tucked so low. The funeral didn't last long. It was just a brief moment of silence, followed by a few quick goodbyes I was sure of still. The ceremony came to a close once Alyssa, who was still in the recovery, came to pay her final respects. The flames devoured the coffins of Martin and the other researchers, announcing the end of existence with a crackle of firewood. So, I suppose you'll be leaving now? Oh. We're staying until Greg is stable enough to travel. Doctor says we'll remain here until Gregor's condition settles. Gregor came to his senses a few days after his unforeseen metamorphosis and battle against the thumbnail's father. He was given a checkup, and Hohenheim said there was no cause for concern. Physically, that is. A psychological assessment turned up disastrous, to say the least. Gregor was declared unfit for combat deployment for the time being. So, you won't be leaving just yet. Good to know. And I assume you'll be okay with us borrowing Sinclair for a while? Me? Yes, you. The LCA wants to look into that sign you manifested, Sinclair. The higher-ups didn't waste a second green-lighting the project, which means what I'm telling you is more of a notice of investigation than a request for permission. What investigation? What are you... It's just a rather rudimentary instance of human experimentation. Calm yourself. Human experimentation? Do you really have to put it like that, boss? Not to worry, Sinclair. I'll swipe or two on your skin and maybe some talk therapy. That's all there is to it. Of course, if we had your consent, the avenues of research could be vastly... No, I'm not giving you my consent. For your reference, the other departments would have also submitted some quite enthusiastic requests for research and observation purposes. Oh, you have no idea. We had to get boss to fend off the LCA's Mirror World Observatory Department and their hissy fits. I want to be the first ones to get your hands on you and spearhead the research, you see. And had we allowed them, it kept you for a good few months before letting you go. The least you could do is think as it'd be a good boy and cooperate. Just in time. Our researchers are here. Let's away after the researchers who were filling out the funeral hall after paying their respects. It wasn't long before Sinclair found himself surrounded on all sides. Wait, I'm perfectly capable of walking there on my own. So, just don't do any painful tests on me. Of course, of course. Stay strong, Sinclair. All I could do was offer an unspoken encouragement to Sinclair, who sounded ready to collapse into a full-blown panic at any minute. What about you? Not going with them? No, it's back to the long-term recovery ward for me. Now, I thought scientific research was one thing that flamed my passion, but with the recent events having introduced me to the merits of paid sick leave, I realize that time outbeats research projects in my book, marginally. Enjoy while it lasts. I highly suspect that every request for PTO submitted by a department will be rejected for the rest of the year. Well, it's true your average corporation doesn't give more than a week off a year. So let's trudge off with the dragging steps. The researcher sees Sinclair and Whisk carried really him away. Alright, you should get going too. Oh, do you all have somewhere else to be? Well, I thought I'd go visit Gregor. I'm worried about him. I'm worried about him. There is one website that might actually help, but it's mostly more like collegiate math. A site called Wolfram Alpha. So, yeah, that's something to kind of keep in mind. But get plenty of rest and focus on your work as much as you can. And don't clam up for asking questions. You can do it, Don. I know you can. You gotta believe in yourself first and foremost. Don't let the dream end here. I'm going with Sinclair to get some rest. Also keep an eye on the research and stop them if they try anything fishy with the experiments. Let me know if you need anything, Dante. And I found in different directions. Seem to have their own errands to run during our stay at LCE. Everyone's busy with their own thing. The only one to keep me company right now, Ryoshu. They've been filling the air around thick with cigarette smoke, and Don Quixote was sniffing around and asking about every corner for Vespa in a valiant quest of the new color fix's whereabouts. Okay. Frost is still there, still here too, staring blankly into the poor Faust. Is she accessing Gesellcraft? She seemed to have some time to spare, manager. As I stood there, wondering what I should do next to pass the time, Hohenheim, who had apparently finished tackling and signing the stack of papers, walked over to me. This makes things rather convenient. It's something I had intended to discuss with you and Senator Ryoshu. A matter that requires your assistance. What kind of assistance? WKOA says CH. Wait a minute. Did Ryoshu just step in as my interpreter? Yeah, that's interesting. It's not that I don't appreciate your gesture, especially since she usually snapped at me and tell me to find someone else to interpret whenever the issue came up. But I can't help but doubt whether her choice method of interpretation actually accomplishes anything. There is, I must admit, a certain novelty in witnessing the reconstruction of which requires interpretation into yet another linguistic form equally demanding of it. It seems we are in need of more manpower. Scratching his head, Hohenheim looked around for a moment before coming to a sudden pause, as though an idea had crossed his mind. At the end of his gaze was a certain someone who was busy badgering LCCA employees with their relentless questioning. Who else, pray, might know where he is? Thou knowest not. Now listen closely. The one I seek is a bearer of a hair fashioned like the license of a bull. You there, why don't you join us too? Dost thou speak of me? LCAA personnel who were cornered by Don Quixote were in a rather forceful interrogation regarding Vespa's whereabouts, took the opportunity and fled the scene without so much as a backward glance the moment their captor turned her head to answer Hohenheim. Indeed, there's a task that requires your assistance. But I have yet more words to trade with the most noble yellow harpoon. You seek to emulate the virtue of chivalry. Does that entail turning down the earnest plea of those in need? I For the sake of clarity and distinction, it would be prudent to assign you a different identifier from that of my assistants. You are to be number 2. That is, assistant number 2. I have not yet concluded my exchange with the Yellow Harpoon, but no true knight would abandon those who call for aid. Pray, speak that quest. I may be of service to thee. Delegating your interpretation of the manager's speech to Center 4 has proven to be counterproductive. As such, your task will be to report to me with whatever the manager says. Oh, that is indeed a simple task. However, this WKOA eludeth mine understanding as well. Prithee, allow me to be but a little time to uncover its mystery. Relay the manager's words, not Center Ryoshu's. They're asking what kind of assistance you need. The request for interpretation was not directed to you, but I cannot deny your meddling in present circumstances is a welcome one. It was simply that the irrationality and inefficiency of your suboptimal staffing choice and workflow had become sufficiently unbearable. Oh, there's the snappy Faust that we kind of know and love when it comes to these two. But I guess after what happened with the end of Kanto 9, she is still kind of shaken up about being labeled as stupid Faust. That kind of sucks. Hey, what's good, Bana? Faust hopes that this was not some guileful scheme devised to elicit Faust's cooperation. In any case, Manager, this request of mine concerns an investigation of the back doors located in the House of Spiders. I deem that the two of you should be the ones most familiar with the structure and layout of the house. After all, you are the one monitoring the entirety of the 5 prolonged assault operation, and Senator Number 4's familiarity does not bear repeating. I think that was good. Yeah, it's just mostly stressing about math and science. Mostly math, though, so they kind of send her away to pretty much focus on that, but it's just some other things that kind of came up too. Yeah, I mean, it's appreciated. I mean, you don't have to, since the vodka is going to be here, but I don't want to subject anybody for sticking around for too long for someone else's stead. But it's all up to you if you want to kind of continue that forward. Do we go to the House of Spiders right away? HOSRA. You have assisted enough. Perhaps you could help, Faust? Sure. Although not word for word, Faust related my intention to Hohenheim, who responded by shaking his head. Not immediately, no. There's one more member you should bring along. One more member? See me tilt my head, Hohenheim pushed up his glasses. I love having glasses, personally. Okay. Your apprentice who was captured alive in House of Spiders. Kira. She's regained consciousness. The place Hohenheim led us looked like less of a recovery ward and more like an interrogation chamber. Though every single medical equipment installed around seemed to be state-of-the-art. This place looks well equipped. Probably a direct order from upper management. Although technologies to restore lost body parts are common enough in the city, a facility of this kind is required to preserve the original form of the lower body, and the reconstruction process will keep the cost reasonable. Yeah, considering that she just got chopped in half by her own father. That rat bastard. Reasonable? Do I want to know how expensive the other options are if this counts as reasonable? A windowless room thick with the sharp scent of medicine and chemicals. She was sitting on the bed at the center of the room, kicking her feet as she regarded us. For someone recovering from bisection, she didn't look much different from how she appeared when I'd seen her through the sinister vision. God. She was captured alive for the extraction of information, yes? How far along is the progression of the extraction? It hasn't begun yet, actually. We're waiting until the lines of information that warrant questioning can be isolated. So far, all available personnel have been fully engaged in analyzing the documents and terms and items discovered in the House of Spiders. And what's she even doing here? There is work to be done, contingent upon information obtainable only from a recent inhabitant of the House of Spiders. And following a discussion with upper management, I have decided to put you to use as the company had originally intended. No TV, no comic books, just a super prickly glare and a cold shoulder whenever I ask for something to pass the time. Damn, she look like... No. Her life pretty much does suck at this point. And now you suddenly need my help, huh? Give me one reason I should cooperate. Wilhelm didn't so much as twitch an eyebrow at Kira's biting tone. He merely gave her a nod with a steely, imperturbable expression. I didn't ask for your help. Put you to use, I believe, is what I said. What? Your survival is not incidental. It is the result of calculation. The company anticipates a potential profit by keeping you alive. Expected gain, as the term goes. Without so much of a forecast on the company's part, you would have already been disposed of. If management consists of people who would be disinclined to tolerate the daily maintenance and depreciation costs of this room, even at half the current numbers. Which brings us to our next point. Should you insist on maintaining this uncooperative attitude, the company may decide to convene a meeting to reassess your worth, or shall we say, lack thereof, in its projected income statement. Well, suffice to say that such a reassessment would skew heavily against your favor. The outcome would be a recommendation for immediate disposal. Wilhelm always had a way with words that could prickle and sting. With Kira, it almost felt like he traded the usual thorn off a sharper knife, intended twisting it right where it hurt. I'm dead meat as soon as my usefulness runs out anyway. It's not like you're gonna let me live when I've killed a bazillion of your guys. So you anticipated for some form of corporate level retaliatory response against your person. That's indeed a curious line of reasoning. And I must tell you that, unlike your typical backstreet syndicate such as the Middle, corporate entities of the city tend to avoid choices that may incur losses. The value of information that could be extracted from an apprentice of the Middle, and the combat prowess honed under the tutelage of a great brother of the Middle. These two considerations are likely to increase your value in the eyes of the company. Y'all got zero self-respect, huh? Nah, I understand. I understand greatly. If anything, I would encourage her to kind of stay off my stream just for a little bit so she can actually focus on her work a little bit more. For her sake. So, just keep an eye on her just in case if she does kind of steer clear from that objective. As far as the embarrassment, that's also understandable too. It's not easy asking for help, especially to strangers on the internet. It's even more so if you're actually trying to reach out to someone that you probably don't have a good grasp on the subject matter too. It does feel embarrassing at first, because it wounds your pride mostly. But it sometimes is necessary to get beyond that point, to actually reach the objective that you want to reach. Also, I'll be right back, just gonna use the restroom real quick. make sure to wash my hands too. You should consider yourself fortunate. Huh? The heck are you on about? Other companies would not solicit your cooperation by means of verbal exchange. Your interrogator would simply open up your cranium, harvest your brain, and extract any and all necessary information, without going through intermediate steps such as this. Even without resorting to such methods, the range of a... What the heck? What is that? Even without resorting to such methods, the range of available means to compel the disclosure of information is practically limitless. Truth serums, hypnotic suggestions, electrical shocks, and stimulations, and of course procedures utilizing distortion and abnormalities. That being said, the LCE department prefers to distance itself from such uncivilized approaches that may entail complications and after effects. I do hope that we share some predilection. He's so freaking annoying. He's so freaking annoying, you know that, mister? The feeling is entirely mutual. Given the biting chill of his thrust to sink in, Hohenheim turned toward the exit. Give her some push and bring her along. I don't quite seem to be myself today. Ah, disregard that. That was rather a foolish thing to say. I'll defer this matter to you, manager. Work of this sort likely falls more within your capabilities than my own. And with that, Hohenheim stepped out of the room, leaving me to deal with Kira. His reaction was understandable. LC only had finished laying his dead researchers to rest. Kira was probably the last person anyone would want to face right now, much less speak to. What should I even say to persuade her? Oh, wait, I think I know what you posted. That's your ID. Ah, I see. I still can't tell when someone quite unexpectedly made their way to Kira. Yoshihide? You? Heard you got stabbed in the back by Matthias. That's not true. No, we all saw what happened. And that's it, and Banana's trip has it. Hey, I mean, it's not too late to have some coffee, right? Don't want to be too wired before going to bed. Papa wasn't landing a fatal blow unless he cut through me, too. That's why he did exactly that. To aim for the enemy. No, that's bullshit. You're coping. You're coping, Kira. Stop coping. Besides, he made the right choice. No sacrificing a thing in the family. Family. Coming from him, a metal mutt thrown out of his kennel. Doesn't that sound ridiculous even to you? That's... thrown out? That fucking Matthias. Was a GB only by technicality. He fucked up badly. He was still family by name, but underneath it, everyone hoped he'd disappear quietly on his own. It was that family member nobody wanted around. Same treatment for me, being his brat. Not surprising, it's ST for the bowl cut too. Same taste? Oh, young Yoshu. Could it be that thou dost harbor a passionate zeal for I quickly clapped over my hand, cut my hand over Don Quixote's mouth as she smoothly chimed into the conversation. So, what exactly is your point? The point is you're taking too long. If you can't decide whether you want to live or die, I can shorten the hesitation. CQ, or sync, right this instant. What does that even mean? Cooperate quietly, or I'll snap your neck completely. Right this instant. Sync isn't such a bad way to go out if you're keen on taking that loyalty act straight to the grave. Ah, that's so crappy. Whatever, I get it, okay? I'll talk if that's what you want so bad. That actually worked. Fixes go on a blaze of glory aren't actually the strong ones. It's the ones who survive. The ones who live to see another day and keep getting stronger. Yeah, let's get Seiko. How's it going? How you doing on this wonderful night? Anyway, Yoshihide, what's up with you talking weird ass abbreviations? Like, sync? That's so random. Who even says that? Yoshi didn't bother to reply and simply chewed on the mouth of end of her cigarette. In bed? Ah, I see. Now just make sure you're in the proper positions so you don't feel too uncomfortable and Banab, I hope it's decaf too. I hope it's decaf coffee. But then again, who am I to kind of judge? Is this really the right call? To her, we're probably people she needs to sell the score with. As if. Half her tattoos are gone, Clock. They even confiscated her book. You think the middle sorry excuse for loyalty means so much to this trade that she'd bite us? Besides. Nah, I better hear from her instead. Hey, tell me when Matthias kicked the bucket. That's cause, well, this Popper is weaker than y'all. I mean, considering the kind of bullshit that we had to do in order to even whittle him down. Yeah, pitbull energy, man. It also kind of makes sense that he has pitbull energy because he actually ran through a child to kill us. That's not decaf. 4 spoons of 4. I mean, 2 should be good enough, but unless it's like a dark roast, then that could be a different story. Dark roast, I know you're gonna need a lot more sugar in order to make it even work. Maybe a little bit of cream in order to make that even palatable. My workplace has dark coffee and it tastes terrible. It tastes terrible, but it's the fact that they make so much of it that's a little bit of a concession. But I'll be honest, I've been just going to the convenience store, just holding out as much as I can and just get the coffee that way. Or get some Masaga chai. Huh. Oh, that's smirk that Ryoshu has. Oh yeah, I also noticed that there's no Microsoft Yahoo. That got changed. I remember the whole controversy. Well, would it be even considered controversy? That the text was just bland? Well, I guess it was considering the regional effect of it. So yeah, it did become a big deal. Yeah, you're the jerk's brat, alright. Kira pushed herself up on the bed with a sour face, but at least she didn't argue back. Now we called Hohenheim, who had been waiting outside, back in. I assume the person was successfully persuaded. Come, you'll find your weapon on the table. You may use it in the event of an emergency. What the? I can't even unsheath it. You won't be able to use it without authorization. The code's been slightly adjusted. Now then, let's head to the House of Spires at once. The back door is up and waiting for us. We made our way to the House of Spiders with Kira trailing behind us, looking as she was smelling something particularly fishy on us. I mean, as if she can't really use the sheaths to just hammer someone's head in.
준비되어 지정 보호 구역에
녹슨 총에 날카롭지 않은
명령하시.
걸맞는 곳이어야 할 거다.
명 받았습니다.
Only a few days had passed since our last visit, but the place looked more markedly different from what we remembered. The sight of the hollow, frigid atmosphere and the endless stretch of corridors hasn't changed. The ghosts of so-called artworks were now covered in white sheets, and unfamiliar devices affixed all around the back doors. Who might these people tend to be? Looks like some shady bastard moved in already. I got a reaction from the Hohenheim to step forward and gesture to one of the oddly dressed figures. It seems the introductions are in order for both sides. There's a team leader Alan from Wayfarer Company, the new W Corp. He'll be working with us on the investigation into the house back doors. Wayfarer Company? A corporate entity partnered with the Limbus Company, responsible for providing portal technology. It has on prior occasions been referred to as a new or aspirant W Corp, though the name is an unofficial one. Our employees all have taken to calling you the new L Corp, something we have in common, given that we're both chasing after the same horizon. Rusty! I remember. That company vying to take W Corp's place, right? The same horizon. Probably talking about getting recognized as a wing. After all, the old L Corp has already fallen, while W Corp, from what I've heard, is free-falling at this point. And these are the managers and senators of the LCB department, and field operations unit. You're going to deploy to deal with some on-site matters firsthand. They have more personnel, but the rest are tied up with other duties elsewhere. Only a handful will be joining this investigation effort. I understand. Field operation units are almost always understaffed anyway. The support you provide us is more than sufficient. Alan gave an understanding nod. The man slipped off his bulky helmet before extending his hand in greeting. Pleased to make your acquaintance. Name's Alan, leader of the Door Breach Team 4. Likewise. Before I could even relay a reciprocal greeting, my words spilled out of Alan's mouth in a strange uneven rhythm. As if my ticking didn't bother him at all. Like he was sticking to a script he had rehearsed. I heard great things about you, Manager Dante, who live in this company, and the bus team's performance. This ChatGPT-ass motherfucker. You capitalize on the suppression of distortions at T-Corp as leverage to push your products, and the profits were nothing short of staggering, I heard. Oh yeah, we're supposed to be the distortion resolving specialist to the public, but what's that product part about? Hey, welcome back, Don. Manager says it was merely a matter of luck. I also look forward to working with you two on this task. Oh, are you the interpreter? In that case, I'll be sure to consult the manager only when both of you are available. Sure. Buzz didn't seem particularly pleased with the rule Ellen had pinned on her, but she nodded anyway. She quietly came to my side and answered my earlier question while Alan carried on with Hohenheim. He's referring to the monolith sales project. The credit was attributed to LCB at the express request of Mr. Hubert T. Corp's executive. Why the fuck would Hubert do that? Why? Oh, so that's how the rumor spread, huh? We review their agreements. Now I understand you'll be assisting in verifying what lies beyond the back doors. I'd appreciate it if you could share any prior knowledge you have about where these back doors connect. As detailed as you can make them, if you don't mind. Hohenheim fixed Kira with a pointed look. Though Kira responded by defiantly cocking her head in a show of irritation, she gave up a sliver of information that she had. Honestly, I've got pretty much nothing that's about Robo-Unk in his room. Robo-Unk. I guess they got the Gen Z millennial. Alright. I was just saying they just kind of nailed this. Also noticed like the various scars on her arm too. Maybe it's the whole Queek keg situation too, where she just started cutting towards the tattoos. I mean, I've seen her being ahead of the door and on the other one over there when she was popping out to farm stuff, but farm? Oh, it's just gathering material. Alright. Take it easy, but God. I see, what kind of material? Human guts and all that. She come back. Ugh. She come back hauling piles of them. They're probably connected to some backstreets area. The backstreets? Well, he does not bat an eye. Any more details? Can you stop prying? You're low-key pissing me off. What? It's literally all I got. For real. For a moment, Alan leveled with Kira with a stiff expression. And even before I could even register what happened, Kira's head jerked to the side from a sudden punch by Alan. I thought Kira was nimble enough to dodge a surprise attack easily, but this one seemed to have caught her completely off guard. She stood there blinking, eyes round in rude surprise. Actually, it wasn't he that caught her off guard. It was the motion of the punch itself that felt off. The fist being raised, the arm being extended, the blow making contact. The chain of action was there, but didn't look normal. Did you just hit me? What the hell's wrong? As Kira reeled from the unexpected strike, Nakio spoke in a cold and sharp tone. The hell? What manner of discourtesy is this? With all that whining, I thought the bride could use a lesson to remind her of her plate. Oh, Jesus Christ. I had no intention of damaging company acid, of course. I simply assumed the level of warning would not be inappropriate in this case. Team Leader Alan, that sort of conduct may not be an issue in your organization, but it is here. Should it happen again, do understand that we may choose to terminate today's joint engagement without delay. My apologies. I will keep that in mind going forward. But there's something definitely up with this dude. Something very, very up with him. Now sit down without arguing back. But Kira looked far from satisfied with how Hohenheim handled the situation. He gets to sock me in the face and walk off scot-free? So friggin' annoying. Fortunately enough, the groan didn't escalate into her lashing out at Alan. That punched us now. What was that? Exhibited behavior that defied the standard laws of physics. Yeah, the laws of physics always get bent over every now and then. Presumably a form of technology utilized by Wayfair Company. She looks different? Oh, it's majorly the fact that she got cut in half. By Matthias. Let us assume the task at hand. Shinorioshu, give Measure Alan whatever information you have. That door should lead to one of the ring-protected turfs. The other two on the left, I remember they were marked with an X painted with blood. But IH and I, where they actually lead, it's all blurry. It seems that that's all the information we can provide. Will that suffice? We now know that the doors likely connect to a perceivable area. It's already a big improvement in terms of intel for Wayfair Company's backdoor mapping progress. Which means there's less chance of us encountering the space beyond human perception past those doors. Alright then. I'll proceed with the connection verification. Which door shall we test first? Those are the ones in the Ryoshi mentioned. You don't trust me at all, huh? Why even bring me along? Ignoring Kira's jab, Alan began setting up various devices on the door, and soon an elegant white door opened before us. Shall we? I thought joining us as well, young Honine? Just this once. I proceeds for handling over field operations. Okay, let's see what's in there. Oh. What the? Is some kind of wildlife exhibit? Then when we stepped in, the lights hit us all at once, drawing squints and frowns from the centers. Thanks to my lack of physical eyes, I could make out a room full of statues or perhaps taxidermied animals. I felt like a gallery of sorts. But it was so quiet that the air itself seemed to carry a strange, somber weight. After a moment, someone shared the silence, but it wasn't Don Quixote, our usual suspect. Holy shit! Skill is just insane! That's the well from the 8th Associated Great Lake, special issue. Kira seemed beaten down all along, exclaimed with a bit more energy in her voice. Man, seeing in real life sure is different. And Indigo Elder one-shots these monsters with the harpoon of his, huh? It's a Great Lake whale. Doesn't look like one we've encountered, though. Organisms of various services can be identified here. Singularity modified, outskirts born. They look almost alive. They're not, right? No, they're not. Duh. That Rebelling did say the ring has these zoos where they put these monsters display alive. Man, this would have been way more fun if we could see the moving ones. Everything here's dead. Still is crazy sick though. Vibe really hits. Even though she was trying to play it cool, Kira keeps sneaking glances at the massive horn display off to the side, clearly surprised in a way she couldn't hide. That said, I felt a distinct shortage of hyperactivity given the presence of a certain someone in our party. Don? They are the second kindred of House Tepes. What's it doing here? At the mention of the word kindred, I couldn't help but follow Don Quixote's gaze. Opposite of the whale was another kind of exhibit. It contained items leaning on the more gruesome side of things. Starting with the crimson eyeball that caught Don Quixote's attention, and body parts like hands and bones that look as though they had been stripped from the human body. It kind of reminds me of that one scene of Hunter x Hunter, where Kurapika actually heads to the auction and sees one of his own people's eyes. You can imagine his deep-seated rage that started spilling out at that moment in York New City. I remember in both the 1999 and early 2000s version of Hunter x Hunter. I'd probably say the classic one definitely has a lot more tension to it. It's a gallery of the School of Fafism. Probably a main studio at that, which comes with a maestro's atelier and an auction house. Alan, we'll make our exit shortly. Prepare to initiate lockdown sequence. Before one of them could even finish the urgent transmission, numerous footsteps closed in somewhere nearby. Turning to the sound of shoes clacking on the floor, we found strange figures wearing animal masks staring directly at us. That presence. I don't like Papa's. Ain't no way. It's not a rape us who can clear out our level. We gotta get out of here. It's not that simple. Retreating's not a viable solution here. It's always connected to the House of Spiders. Escaping without installing a security system will invite pursuit. We'll stall them until Alan's ready to initiate the lockdown sequence. As tension thickened, one of the strangers who wore peculiar bone masks stepped forward. The voice spoke to us carried equal part curiosity and delight. He came through that door. Then the house does fall. It wasn't just baseless wow, the world did travel really far and wide. But then again, if Nelly was able to get this kind of information, then I'm pretty sure it went out like a shotgun blast. A stray little spiderling fallen from her parents' web. How many years has it been? You. Who are you? Ah, right. It makes sense you would fail to recognize me. I used to wear a different mask back then when I used to visit your tutor, didn't I? A wolf if memory serves correct. Yes. This must have been when I was quite captivated by the sensation of tearing into the raw, still thrashing flesh of living prey. Never as ferocious yet cavernously resonant howling. Rings a bell. Yeah, the maestro whose whole lesson was a 3-hour sermon praising the intensity of primary colors and the strength of living creatures. Benoit, was it? That's right. Emile Benoit. And they say you can't hatch a phoenix from a chicken's egg. Doesn't always apply, I see. I think she would have a little bit too much fun in Dobrakov if her ID is one thing to really refer from. Looks like that mind of yours is still sly as a raven, unlike your nurse fathers. Don't presume. I remember you because a tacit because of tacility. There we go. Because of the tacility of hides and guts. Made for a passable AW. At first glance, it looks like Ryosha was casually taking a trip down memory lane with the maestro. I have a feeling she was in fact dragging this out on purpose to buy us time. That lockdown sequence thing, how much longer is it till it's ready? Like it making me arrow shooting miserable. Well, the House of Spiral was the one thing that did kind of make her miserable. So, since we're beyond that point, I doubt that anything's gonna make her any more irritated, let alone miserable to think of it. Hohenheim, the lockdown sequence. Kyoto, who's been shooting the ring members in intense glare sparked by the discovery of Kindred's eyes, will relay my words to Hohenheim without even a hint of her earlier shenanigans. Now for the progress and speed of the lockdown sequence lies in Alan's hands, not mine. It is by nature a time-consuming work we cannot expect haste. Perhaps this does make this a suitable juncture to trial Plan A. Plan A? Any suggestions that involve Don Quixote removing her shoes will not be dignified with a serious discussion. Instead, maybe what Hohenheim had in mind had nothing to do with Don Quixote's shoes because he had opened his mouth as though he was about to retort Faust's categorical rejection. But the moment he followed Faust's eyes and saw what she was looking at, he quietly shut his mouth and said nothing further. Faith and potentiality is not something I dislike. As for this, however, this seems more like gasping at straws. At the end of their gaze was Yoshi's blade at Ayashiki. I was gonna try using it anyway. I have a long way to see if my suggestion was any different. Tell him that we're just leaving won't work, will it? No, it won't. Every individual present here will be quite fascinating specimen of the artist of the ring. We are practically a wonderful of inspiration and material that has so conveniently been delivered to them. It is improbable that they will allow us to return unharmed. They're trying to bring the House of Spies all back alive. Yeah, I think rain would be just enough. But whatever happened, but seeing what happened to all the others, yeah, it still probably won't be much. Faust was right. She and Honam are geniuses. Ryoshi is the wielder of our Aishiki. Donkey was a kinsman of higher generation, and I happen to house a golden bow in my head. I have no idea how much information the ring has on us. But even if we knew nothing, they wouldn't let us go so easily. Are you sure about this, Ryoshi? It doesn't matter if I'm sad or not. Clock. Think of that woman as Lei Heng, and do as he did in HC's mansion. I'll take care of the rest. Right, that's probably your best shot. Pressing with the golden bow, secure an advantage to fight on equal footing, then catch them off guard by slowing them down the flow of time. I come from my Arashiki, even if it doesn't give us a real fighting chance, it might at least stall the maestro long enough to give us some time to get away. As for the exhibit, it only houses submissions from students and docents. If you look closely enough, there are some passable ones that show promise of excellence. And above all else, this gallery is a school of Falfism. And mine. The gallery of Emile Benoit. Which is why I would have preferred to take you out without an unnecessary fight if possible. A shame. Still, we're talking about a unique relic here. A merciless one at that. Acquiring the Araishiki makes it worth the cost. If you want a taste. Huh? Confusion flickered across Yoshi's face as she tried to unsheath her blade. What's the matter? How? The lock of the House of Spies used to bind on Araishiki no longer exists. So, why? Why can't I draw the blade? Now that's unexpected. So the rumors of you mastering the relic, were they false? Maestro only gave a loose swung of her arm, but it was enough to make Ryoshi recoil. A shadow of surprise crossed her face. The wound looked nothing like a light gash, yet the Maestro's contemplative gaze shifted between the blood on Ryoshi's arm and her own, as though the attack had been an experiment to prove a hypothesis. It wasn't hard to guess what she was thinking. Noticed, didn't you? I had my doubts from the moment I saw you today. Was the House of Spiders a success or a failure? Tell me, Yoshihide. What do you think a servant's defining strength is? What are you on about now? Ask any student and they'll give the same predictable answers. The deadly venom, sleek scales. Why, it's lamentably disappointing. Maestro advanced towards it with an assured certainty. And sees the beige thread dangling from the ceiling. No, calling it mere thread would be wrong. Something that resembled a thread, yet felt much more disturbing. I, for one, have a particular liking of the jaw and the spine. The flexibility of the spine, linked like a chain, and the jaw, not bound not by bone, but by ligaments, that allow the animal to swallow its prey whole. Perhaps I should have said that I admire their structural refinement. The thrice cold ring on her finger gave off a cold glint, and the walls and the ceiling suddenly began to echo with a sickening squelching crack of flesh and bones assembling. What the hell is that? Which brings me to ask, what better way to claim this delivery of promising material with a single bite than a work of art fashioned from a snake? Maestro plunged her arm into the long serpentine bite of a monster. The sheer presence of radiated pressure as oppressive as the nurse father, only one more primal and untempered. Consider it a privilege. It's the first time this piece has ever been exhibited to an outsider. Hohenheim, is the locked-in sequence still not ready? 1 minute to go, step aside. The attack from the Eagle Gear Hohenheim hastily brandished didn't even last a moment. The weapon was knocked from his hand. As I scrambled to the quintessentials with their identity, something abruptly stopped the beast like to penetrate midway through its hurtling motion. And the one who intercepted the blow? Shit. It was Kira, struggling to push back against the serpentine arm with her still sealed blades. she's only have a change of heart I wasn't aware of? Shit. Wasn't the plan at all. Obviously not. She couldn't have changed her mind that quickly. Because the look on her face can be anything other than that of utter regret. Metal. For someone doesn't seem to be a proper member, you've inked quite the quantity of tattoos on yourself. You must be the new kid Matthias took in. Why do you stand in my way? The fuck if I know. I'm running it alright. Damn it, they're gonna dish me here. Why even? Must have been instant taking over. Couldn't fully shake off the opponent's killing intent, so the body chose to clash head on. The behavioral facet of the psychic can be controlled with suitable training. Unexpected data, but useful data for sure. Shut it, mister. Quit yapping and let me use my blades. Authorized and ready. Lifting locks. Now. Your similar weapons emerge from the sheaths with a metallic clang. Use to recoil the motion to skid back and assume a defensive stance. Naturally, that broke Bernard's arm from the delic as well. Maestro lashed out again at that monster's limb, but... Huh? Just a foul injustice striking an unprepared opponent in a duel. Behold, for I shall allow thee the glimpse of a badass form that only the most renowned fixers have displayed through the ages. Seeing an opening, Don Quixote slammed into the arm with her full might, knocking it off its trajectory. Predictably, however, the sheer force of Maestro's attack instantly reduced her to a red sludge of flesh and bone, resting her remains. Oh, she got splattered. Alright. Sleep well done and take care. Ready to initiate lockdown sequence. I'll seal the door immediately upon your exit. Everyone to the door. Faust retrieved the organic remnants of Sinner number 3. As Faust made her exit what was once Don Quixote, the students stood rings around Akira, barring her way out. A hollow chuckle slips out of her lips. Called it for real. This looks like I didn't want to get involved. Taking Kira back with us would mean having a sizable force of the ring trail right behind her through the door. Kira, too, seemed to realize the risk and no one in the right mind would want to take. She went her head in defeat as though she knew full well that the fate awaited her. I'm such a dumbass. Why was I think I dived in like that? You, don't just stand there. Get over here now. Huh? I think something could come flooding in if I... You, TTM, want to leave in half again? Pin this on me later. You're gonna pay. Plugging the Maestro strong by a hair as it came down on her strength, Kira hurled herself toward the door with every bit of strength she could muster. More than a few students rushed into the doorway, chasing after the sinners who had gone ahead, but... Lockdown sequence complete. All backdoor links have been cut. Unfortunately, Adeline managed to sever the connection between the two back doors before the Maestro could ever cross over. Volka, you can still use your arms. I'm fine. So she says. You'll be strong enough in addition to fight for us, but the ring members have still managed to cross or in a rather sizable force. Finding out the sinners I might have at my side would not be the best course of action. In that case, guys, I assume you're all available right now. As soon as I call to the sinners, the voices come through the Hohenheim's radio one after another. Huh? I guess so. Ready for your order, Executive Manager. Otis, Otis, am prepared to answer your call whenever and wherever. Hang on, I just need to finish this bite. Everyone, to me. And then we use Malkuth, and we probably are tempting fate somewhere.
좋아, 얼른 끝내고 밥 먹으러 가자고.
Oh boy. Make it bleed.
쏴야 할 때가 왔군.
네가 화났을 땐 이렇게 숨소리도 내지 말고 숨어 있어야 해.
Man, mostly countering.
태어난 곳으로 돌아가.
리더들의 단원이 오랜만에 이 정도쯤은
I got a claw mark on us.
아까 방망 맞고 의무실로
Oh, hey. You.
머리에 멍이 좀 들었다더라. 그런데 너 살쪄고 진짜 쇠방망이. 그럴 리가. 손방망이에요. 짜증나게.
Yeah, that's not good.
지켜주지 못해 미안하다는 말만큼 공허한 말도 없을 거야. 그 말은 결국 지켜내지 못했다는
Yeah, we're
뜻이
turning off the safety for this one.
하고들 시간이다. 잔무에 속삭.
우와, 지금 완전 삼촌들이랑 고모들 같았어.
Yeah, we're sparing no expense.
방망 맞고 의무실로 간 하들이 괜찮을 때가 되시냐니? 머리에 멍이 좀 들었다더라. 그런데 너 설마 저거 진짜 손방망이야? 그럴 리가. 손방망이에요.
탕.
Another doggy down.
깨달음을 얻으셨군.
모자를 쓰고 있는 혈기에겐 방망이 대신 풍선 칼이 정답이에요.
Oh, we have enough. No, not enough.
아이씨, 짜증나게. 엄청난 공격이었어. 환영할 만한걸?
쏴야 할 때가 왔군.
Get some pedals
전에
going.
인정했다고. 만약에 그 인간도 이걸 인정할걸?
방심했군.
Almost.
지금처럼
And
엄마와
that's when
함께
dogs
이곳
down.
곳을 다니며 많은 기억을 쌓아줘.
But certainly using Malkuth wouldn't bring... It's only the first door and its impediments are already beyond expected levels. I swear though, I thought that was it for me back there. Events of this nature won't be so frequent. We're merely beset by luck, ill luck. If you just listened to me and picked another door, we would have gotten cooked like that in the first place. Why did you even drag me along if you weren't gonna trust me? Weirdos. Would have opened them all at the end of the day. SD. SD, what's that? Same difference. Again, why shorten it like that? Just say duh or something. Just spell it out and say that it was anticipated. That's WA. Good one, everyone. Red does have a team dedicated to this sort of task, but the mortality rate is quite high. I was bracing myself for the worst. Now to completing the first door was an expedition without any casualties or under 50%. This, by all measures, counts as a flawless expedition. Tapping away at his device, Alan addresses with an amicable smile. He seemed totally different from the same man who had manhandled Kira with a fist to her face. Those fellows won't be able to cross over anymore with the door completely locked down, right? That cannot be asserted with certainty. Are you saying more might come? The corridors and back doors have always been the ring's turf clock. And those Falvis beasts have endured a long-standing faction within the ring. If they've gotten that much history, must have many back doors. Or the origin and destination points. I'll clarify what Ryoshi was hinting at. Yes, compared to them, we lack sufficient knowledge of alternate routes, which makes it difficult to prevent infiltration. No need to concern yourself over much. Even if that were the case, it's unlikely they would move to the House of Spiders so soon. They could always rush for a surprise attack, though. Even the Falvis Meister seemed to lack clear intel on the event that took place in the House of Spiders. If so, it follows that they will need time to assess and deliberate about the situation. A situation? The logical scope of the concerns will be identifying the organizations that have secured the House of Spiders, the possibility of additional traps beyond the back doors, and the like. Once all back door related procedures tied to the House of Spiders are completed, the resulting security framework should be able to preempt any and block any infiltration attempts. This operation is more important than I thought. That aside, why can't I draw the blade? Is new Scabbard's fault? Yoshi lifted his sheathed sword with an irritated frown. That's when I felt a faint vibration. It was twitching ever so slightly. That quivering was faint. It was seen by all, indeed. Damn, I saw it too. Did it possess or something? Looks like I wasn't the only one who saw the sword twitching, as though it wasn't pleased at all with how Yoshi was talking about the scabbard. Yoshi's gaze lingered on the sword before slowly shifting toward the back doors. Could it be that seeing the scabbard brought back some memory of Araya? Yoshi, do you? Is it an SS? Demon Edge? Enchanted Blade? Which is it? It's probably neither of those. Nor is it a sentient sword. This presents a fine opportunity to conduct yet another examination of the sword. Excuse us for a moment, Team Leader Allen. Please feel free to go ahead. The technology just damaged some devices, so we're gonna have to perform some maintenance before continuing. There's plenty of other work for me to do while you're away too. Are you to return to the headquarters research facility then? No, that won't be necessary. There's a facility here that should prove more than adequate. Man, this is already densely packed. I think I might actually just do like one more before having to like
벌써 목 애를 전부 채웠군. 방지할
Move over.
사고도 해야 할 뒤처리도 없나.
maybe I might be able to sneak in something during the morning.
돌아가지.
Who knows? Owner brought us to what looked like a research lab, lined with cables, rows of screens, and diagrams full of complex symbols and shapes. I didn't know there was a place like this in the House of Spiders. There's a forward base controlled by Limbus company following Operation Spider Pyre. It did not exist prior to the house's fall. It is intended for additional backdoor investigation and research into irregular phenomena observed during the operation. Irregular phenomena? An example. Research subjects such as the spatial analysis of the correlation between the emergence of Center 11's sign and the manifestation of the possible future. Oh. Okay, Ron is spotted Sinclair and a group of researchers surrounding him, the same people who dragged him off earlier. They're accompanied by a gaggle of cynics who tagged along to either watch the show or kill some time while they took a breather after work. Hohenheim, how long will the examination take? Sinclair's biometric assessment concluded. The analyzer device should be available for the relic now, which means it should be finished in an hour from now at least. This camera rattled again at the mention of an hour. I don't know why or how, but the way it swayed, it almost felt like a child trembling. It's moving again. Come along, Ryoshi. I expect you will want to win this procedure. Fine. Ryoshi and Hohenheim headed off to the side. The examination was probably going to start immediately. I'm gonna get Sinclair then. Wait. I was making my way to Sinclair, who was getting bombarded with questions when an unexpected figure behind the pillar caught my eye. It was Vespa Carabro with a big piece of paper covered in crooked handwriting taped down his back. Snack thief? Ah, manager. Karen Snacks. There's a string beneath all of them up. Sorry, but I think there's been some misunderstanding. Berg, kick his ass. Not only is this matter not worth pointing fingers over, but Karen also shares some of the line of responsibility for leaving them out on the table unattended. Still, I would prefer you exercise more care next time, or you'll put me in a tough spot. Understood. Karen, super sulky mode engaged. Not talking for half a day. Deploying super pass bitter candy. Beep beep. Mode disabled. I'm not sure if this is an appropriate request, but may I remove the paper from my back now? It's a little inconvenient for me. Karen forgives this time. Next time, no mercy. Best make sure she doesn't listen to that radio channel again. Vegas looked on with an inscrutable expression as Karen peeled the snack thief sign off of Vespa's back. Make sure to remember this, so I don't have to think about burning through what little candy chance I have left on such a trip of nonsense. Thank you. Vespa gave a polite thanks, but he was already picking something off another plate and stuffing it in his mouth. I guess old habits die hard when you're stuck in a pocket dimension or something. Wait a minute. I'll save that for later. I assumed you were being picky. Well, now you know. I still see you gobbling up my share. He took my snack too, Verg. Kick his ass. Rodion Romanovich. I am aware that half the total snack budget allotted allocated to each center is being funneled into your snacking expenses. And now you're raiding the LCE supplies as well. Chill, that's toast been arranged upon, okay? Besides, that's that, and this is... Please don't tell me that at some point she is actually going to have a Black Silence idea of her own. Because a certain kind of person that usually uses that line is going to be in that kind of crosshair. Or who knows, she might even be like Blue Reverberation. Or Olivier. The lines on Virgilius' brow look deeper than usual today. hoping to help him out of this endless cycle of snacker-related headaches and satisfy my own nagging curiosity. I drew near our guide and broke his brooding silence on my TikToks. You learn anything about Sinclair's sign? Dante is inquired about the outcome of the research on the sign. I've heard from the researchers, but nothing particular significant came out of it. Observation of the sign has so far been limited to two individuals, the manager and Sinclair. Due to the limited accessibility of the phenomenon, only verifiable information has so far been its existence. Researching what cannot be observed is bound to be difficult. Past as a point, aside from Sinclair, now that seniors can actually see the sign. As I'm go for the researchers. Even Sonia said only a select few people could perceive it. If there were more individuals bearing signs, there would be a wider pool for comparative analysis of statistical samples to narrow down the scope. However, records indicate no suitable reference exists. At present, the research efforts is limited to reducing variables such as whether or not the irregular phenomena are tied to the location where the battle took place. By individuals bearing signs, do you mean people like Demian and Sanson? Wait, then those guys could do what Sinclair did? Pull in some super probable future self and just wreck everything? Even Sonia? I should step in and put an end to the subject before Roger gets the blues. I don't think so, from what Ishmael and Faust reported back then. Right, Sinclair from the future said that each sign carries a different power, I think. Maybe, you know, those layers of light rings that we used to finish off Cromer, or Sanson dragging into a story, those could be it. Aye, that does seem plausible. So now that information is something that we can confirm yet. Correct. As I've stated, any discussion of this subject would not venture beyond the realm of wild speculation. Nothing has been proven yet, ergo fear would be an unnecessary response at the present. This is, at best, grounded in supposition. But it seems the researchers are coaxing forth a hypothesis from the vestiges left in the wake of Sinclair's future self. Oh, that bit about the sign and maybe being some singularity or whatever? Yeah. The precise position of the hypothesis was that the fundamental principles of the sign's working may be equivalent to those of the singularities of relics. But as no actionable evidence has been obtained from Sinclair, there is presently no means by which the hypothesis may be validated. I see. Then nothing came out of dragging Sinclair for that research. Oh, you thought I was being dragged off, but still it happened anyway. No, I mean... I'm kidding. Just thought I'd try going along with the mood. I wasn't clear would have even thought to joke around like that. He's really changed lately. Got better, I think. So, did anything happen that we should worry about? I still close him just in case, but nothing serious came up. Just took some blood, a small skin sample. Oh, they also checking the sign if it reacts to electrical stimulation. Yeah, and I had to fill out some questionnaires too. Things like, please describe what you remember from the battle exactly as it happened, or list the sensations you felt when you regained consciousness. Any memories of that moment area to return? No, I don't know if they'll ever come back, actually. Faust said they only exist within my future self, so... Wait, for my future self to even have those memories, shouldn't I carry them in the first place? Which comes first? The chicken or the egg? A paradox, it would seem. In such a case, Sinclair is merely one branch among many possible futures. As the future unfurls into boundless branches by means of ceaseless bifurcation, and the body of information that constitutes a certain future was scattered into grains more fleeting than dust, to diminish to ever reverse their course and trace the path back to the self that now exists. Is that the theory suggested? Not a certainty, but a plausible interpretation. Here you go again, more of that nonsense only you ought to understand. Boy, memory or not, the future guy still came out of him, didn't he? And some part of him's gotta be left in there somewhere, yeah? Like muscle memory or whatever. Perhaps he can still pull off those same tricks from back then. tricks him back then? Energy popped out. I just kept that popper out there. Even though you pulled that trick out, you picked it from the placid old geezer, right? Not just that. He was using Mong. Using the Mong technique quite effortlessly too. What, that glowing ring thing? Yep, the glowing ring thing. He had two of them coiled around his weapon. There's the glowing ring thing? Same brain cell. This is the first time I'm hearing anything about this. Alright, so what exactly is that glowing ring thing? Anyone? Maybe some technique that enhances the physical capability? I mean, it's a flashy aura that makes you real tough is one part of it, but there's gotta be more, right? Don't know, it could be a stick of finger thing that they pass down to the members. Technique, gear, something like that. Look at it. The Black Coney leader, the Linghang prick, and that nurse father we fought. A whole lot of them's a finger, ain't they? Black Coney leader. Oh. Talking about Ryan. Notion seemed to unravel. Even among the LCD. There were those who came to wield it. And Vigilius too. So what, only the proper hard bastards can use it? Some posh top-end trick, is it? Without anyone in particular prompting in, the sinners slowly turned their gaze to Vigilius and Vespa. I only wanted to wield it for my team leader too. I have a sensory understanding of Shin, but I can claim nothing too profound. However, what I can spare are the rumors, though they're all without proper sources. Rumors? They circulate among elite fixers and association leadership. There exists a power called Shin, capable of enhancing the body without having to pay expensive upkeep costs. A rumor among fixers, sayest thou? Yes, even the technique manifested it. How-to tips really spread through hearsay. Oh yeah, that tracks. That super rookie column in the latest magazine, Mag Bonus vid. I was really popping off with it. She had a hard fun with the shiny Mong wrapped around the weapon. It must be that my eyes are yet privy to such a marvel in that video. Wait, you're serious? It's in the latest issue. Literally on the videotape in the back. You use videotapes? Not DVDs? Maybe you missed it. Video? Tape? Alas, how many a week I've been stranded on Mephi, relieving me of the chance to read not only the prior chronicle, but the latest one as well. Was me. When I return, I shall feast upon the night upon those noble exploits of venturing fixers. It's not care to dramatically spiral into a state of utter dejection. I'll just cut into the conversation, her gaze narrowing with suspicion. From what I recall, the mantle of Shin grants its use a high degree of physical enhancement. There's no such a thing as reinforcement without supplies. No power of that magnitude comes without an equivalent cost to wield it. That power relies on emotion and will for manifestation. Its output is not consistently prosthesis and augmentation. And depending on how you use it, the consequence it demands can reach levels comparable to the ego you use. You mean to say that exacts a toll upon the mind? I can walk you through the fundamentals if you like. From what I observe, it appeared to be a technique reserved for those of considerable strength. At our current level, it's not unreasonable to assume we could make use of it. Regarding that, our team would have been conducting intensive research. And according to her, physical strength has little bearing on one's ability to learn and wield Shin. As Yo Harpoon says, it is, in essence, a power that can be learned by almost anyone, provided that they know the proper method of training. This was brow visibly twitched at the moment Yo Harpoon left Virgilius' lips. Yeah, it doesn't seem like he's a big fan of his own title. Yellow Harpoon. Well, if it fits, he's got those yellow stripes on his clothes and he uses a harpoon. Can he argue with that? If I were to exaggerate every synergy Sang's pre-contract self could manage to learn it. Why must this self of mine be chosen at the point of prior Why must this self of mine be chosen as the point of comparison? Well, because you're the wimpiest one here. Don't let it get to you. Oh, they're never gonna make him live it down. Even so, it would be a mistake to assume there's a power anyone could grasp with ease. As long as you're bound by contract as sinners, your ability to wield will be severely limited. Unless you rely on particular identities or come upon extraordinary circumstance. Shame that. Would have been useful. Buddy, you can actually command the power of the dead if you actually have the opportunity to unleash it. Hey, then what about me? Can I learn it too? She had been fidgeting with her fingers, raising an arm, and asked as though she couldn't hold the question back any longer. Come to think of it, Metal Nurseval didn't use any Shinramang. Papa never taught me how to use it. He always said I could get strong without a stupid crutch like that. It wasn't that he didn't teach you, he couldn't. He was a man who probably never heard of once reflected upon his own sins. A piece of trash like him would be incapable of comprehending such a power in the first place. As a response, I always come back dripping with venomous hatred whenever the conversation turns on the topic of the fingers. Knowing how that kind of played out. Like, you already had like a hate bone for the syndicates, but the fingers are another story. I probably should have concluded it after reading beyond the Human Thunderbolt chapter. Kira must have noticed it too. Or perhaps she simply couldn't find the right words to push back. Either way, she held her tongue, her expression setting into a blend of frustration and something that looked a little too close to sadness. If you wanted to reduce it to a yes or no, then yes. You'll be able to learn it with the odds in your favor. That is, assuming the company decides to tolerate your continued existence. I always said I get it. As it stands, you're nothing more than a petting case of disposal. Closer to a threat than you are an ally, strictly speaking. Don't get comfortable because the manager and the sinners treat you with lenience. Step on the line and you'll be the one who pays the price. There's nothing in what Virgil said I could argue with. You have been a member of the House of Spiders. She murdered scores of LCE researchers. And there's plenty of memories we'd rather not revisit. For now, we're just working together. Not contesting that decision doesn't mean we have no hard feelings toward her. Even Kira alone with her thoughts, the sinners slipped back into their own business. Snacks, idle chatter, and conversations about whatever happened around LCE. Examination is concluded. I suppose it won't be an issue to let you hear the results together. Before we knew it, Hohenheim and Ryosha returned. Rinketsuen. Yeah, at this point, that may actually... I may actually do a bit of an earlier stream of, or maybe swap some of the schedule around so I could actually do the Intervallo in its entirety. Maybe move Library of Runa to Sunday and move this to Saturday. So, just to avoid sleeping consistently late, I'm gonna save it for another time, so we'll end it here. But let's try our luck anyway and see what happens. See if we actually do get the announcer or this beauty of a beast right here. But I know for a fact this is just taking away my chances of meeting with Banaz announcer during the next Walpurgis. But as one song goes, I don't give a flying fuck though. Okay, we're getting into here. Thank you everybody for stopping by. Hope you had a wonderful time watching and all the good stuff. Y'all be good, y'all be safe, y'all take it easy. Hope you play your cards right. Ciao.